Hey guys, this is Dani'i and welcome to this update video on the tropics. So we have quite a bit going on as we're going to be heading into September, and we have two disturbances that are likely to become tropical cyclones potentially before the end of this week. So are we going to be having tropical storms Ida and Julian? Okay, so before I go into details, Alright, so let us get to it, guys. And so first up, let's look at that Caribbean disturbance. So this is not yet designated as an invest, but as you're seeing, it is given a medium 60% chance to develop into a tropical cyclone. And if the chance increases anymore, it will be high. So we've been having a steady increase in the formation chance. So it is likely that we're going to be having a tropical cyclone developing just in the southwestern Caribbean, and it is likely to head into the Bay of Campeche, and it is likely to affect portions of Mexico. And so let us look at the satellite imagery of it. Alright, so we're seeing here that the system is definitely not organized at all. We just have those spots of shower and thunderstorm activity, but it is in an unfavorable environment as of right now. But it is when it moves more over into the southwestern Caribbean, then conditions will become more conducive. And that is why on the 5-day map you see that arrow pointing towards that shaded region, because it is not in a favorable environment, and that arrow shows that when it moves into that region, that is where it could have a chance of development. And that is also the reason it is given a 20% chance to develop during the next 2 days. So we're not expecting a tropical cyclone to develop imminently, but it could, as I said, probably by the end of this week or so. And so now let us go on to our other disturbance that is out in the Atlantic. So that one is given a 60% chance to develop as well, and so that is designated as Invest 97L. So this is not expected to imminently develop either. So it is likely to just move up to the northwest and then make that turn. And when it enters that shaded orange region out in the Atlantic, that is where we could see some development of the system. And it could also become a tropical cyclone probably around the same time as the Caribbean disturbance. And so I can't say right now which one of these might potentially develop first and probably acquire the name Ida, because Ida is the next name, but after Ida is Julian. So whichever of these becomes Ida, the next one, if it develops, will become Julian. And so let's go on to what our models are expecting in terms of 97L. So we have not a whole lot of models available as of right now, but most agree that it will become a tropical storm, and from that number, majority are expected to become a hurricane. Some are showing some gradual intensification all the way to category 3, which isn't impossible as long as the ocean temperatures are conducive, there is no wind shear interfering with the system, then we will definitely have some intensification. But the good news, it is going to be out in the Atlantic and not going to be much of a threat to land. Alright, and so let us look at it on satellite view. So we're seeing here that it is not organized at all, and we don't have a whole lot of shower and thunderstorm activity taking place. But as I said, it is when the system makes its way into the shaded orange region, then we could have a chance of it developing, and imminent development is not anticipated. And so now let's look at our third disturbance, this one here highlighted in yellow. And so this is designated as Invest 98L, and as you're seeing as of right now, it is given a 30% chance to develop into a tropical cyclone during the next couple of days. And actually the chance was higher, it was at 40%, but now it has been decreased down to 30, which means that conditions are not the very best for it to intensify or develop into a tropical cyclone. But we still have to watch it and see what happens with it during the next couple of days. So let's look at what our models are expecting in terms of this one here. So we have quite a bit of available models, and most are expecting that it is going to be achieving tropical storm status. So if we have these three systems becoming named storms, they will become Ida, Julian, and Kate. Those are the next three names to be used for this hurricane season. And so now let's look at it on satellite. And so we're seeing here that it is actually looking the best in terms of shower and thunderstorm activity out of our three disturbances. So this one here is actually looking the best, but of course if it is not in a conducive environment, it is going to fall apart anytime later. And so now let us go ahead and take a look at conditions. Alright, so first up we have the ocean temperature map. And so ocean temperatures, very, very conducive, and they're just going to be getting increasingly favorable as we're going to be heading into the peak of the season. So ocean temperatures are going to remain this warm during the rest of the season. And so we have the Gulf being the most conducive area. As you're seeing, that slightly pinkish shade right there, especially just off Louisiana, very, very warm. So any tropical cyclones that might make their way into the Gulf of Mexico and encounter these very warm waters, this is where we will have a lot of rapid intensification of tropical cyclones. So we definitely have to pay attention to that Caribbean disturbance, because we saw what happened with Grace last week. Well, actually on Saturday, Grace made landfall as a Cat 3, a high-end Category 3 hurricane, and at first no one expected that Grace would even become a major hurricane, but it rapidly intensified because conditions were so conducive. So we will definitely have to watch this Caribbean disturbance here and see what is going to be happening with it. But heads up if you're in portions of Mexico, the Yucatan, or even Central America. So heads up if you're in any of those locations. This is for right now, guys. And so other areas such as Jamaica, probably Cuba and the Cayman Islands might feel a bit of effects from the system, but it is not expected to really affect those areas much. But we can't alter the possibilities, and we just have to pay attention to what is going on out there. And so now let's move on to the Windshear Map. And so we're seeing here that the different colors mean different shear intensities. We have the green meaning favorable, the yellow means neutral, and the red means unfavorable. And so we see that we have that pocket of unfavorable shear extending across most of the Caribbean region, extending up to the Bahamas area right there, and even the most easterly side of the Gulf of Mexico. And so it is definitely not likely that we will have that disturbance developing that is in the South Caribbean when it is in all that unfavorable shear, because that is what really rips up the thunderstorms in the tropical cyclone. But again, conditions are expected to get more favorable, and we are expecting that favorable shear to start taking over when the system makes its way over into the southwestern Caribbean Sea. Quite interesting to see what is really going to be happening as we're going to be heading into the new month, guys. So we definitely have to wait and see what is going to eventually happen with these systems. And as I said, as of right now, heads up if you're in portions of Central America, you will likely be affected by a tropical cyclone probably by the end of this week. And so guys, that is it for this update, and if you found it to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share your thoughts with me in the comments or ask a question. I will try to respond as best and as soon as I can, and just remember to always be weatherwise.